Salutare, sunt Omid, Ghannadi și sunt înapoi aici cu încă un episod de RDW Talks din cadrul Romanian Design Week. Astăzi, alături de mine, am doi invitați foarte special, Dario Franchini and Diego Calderon, fondator al biroului DFTC, studio de arhitectură prestigios cu sediul în Londra și în Lugano. Hi! I said the names right, yeah?
Yes,
we had this
absolutely.
discussion before. Okay.
Well done.
Thank you very much for being here, Dario and Diego. Thank you very much for your implication in Romanian Design Week as curators. I'm going to go straight to the questions because I've been doing some research and I want to know. This is the first year when we have foreigner curators, so I want to really use this time to get all the information we can get from your experience and try to do a better job.
Good.
So, my first question is, how was your experience with Romanian Design Week? Was it what you expected? What were the challenges? Mm-hmm. Did you find a pattern there? Just tell me about your experience.
Well, I guess in a way it was exactly what we expected, which means we didn't know what to expect. So everything from the beginning, even though we think our experience with the Design Week is only halfway through, because we think our time here is going to be really an important part of it, it really complied with our expectations. We say, okay, everything will be new for us, and that's what made it really exciting to approach it with a completely open mind and devoid from many. We didn't know what happened last year, the year before, and even the whole Romanian scene for us. It's a bit of it was until now an unknown quantity. So all of these factors have made of it a really enriching, but really an experience full of enjoyment. Full of new things.
Yeah, and I think what was interesting for us, it was to see before the project, to do the curatorship, and then to arrive to the city and Romania for the first time. And a lot of things we discussed looking at the project, when we arrive, many things make even more sense.
Yeah.
And other suggestion or other, theory, we suppose it, they were confirmed. So it was really interesting, this kind of process to coming for the first time and see the project first and see the city after.
Yeah. Did you find kind of let's say, a pattern which would define the local scene in design in Romania comparing to your local scene, let's say?
But things that really surprised me, I think Diego as well, it was really this kind of eclectic sequence and so different things happening one next to the other. And in fact, when we were seeing the project, there is such a broad variety of approach of the several offices that when you come to the city and you see that the city live about this difference and closeness of difference, everything made a lot of sense, even more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, in a way, our experience before our days here was based on reviewing a project here in relative isolation. And now arriving in Romania and in Bucharest, we can actually just walking around, we have come across many of the projects we reviewed and curated, but now we see them in the environment, in their milieu, and as Dario was saying, they become alive somehow. It's I don't know. I relate it to reviewing the menu of a restaurant some days before, but then you go to the restaurant and you have dinner and everything comes together and everything makes sense. That's why we're saying we only arrived yesterday, but everything's making even more sense now.
Coming from iconic cities, how do you find the level of, let's say, the design quality in Bucharest?
We have been. I mean, I cannot say we were surprised because in order to be surprised, you need to know maybe a lot more before. But we've been really, or at least personally, I've been really impressed about the range of ideas and how the city can really accommodate for all of us. Sometimes we come from places where there's maybe so many good ideas around, but the city forces you into into accommodating for them. Whereas in a place like Bucharest, there seems to be a place for every.
It's kind of boiling. The creativity is boiling.
Yes.
I feel that for the last 22 years living in Bucharest, going from grey to the colorful city. Yeah. I will have a question for you. Maybe it sounds kind of a, let's say, superficial question for some curators who have gone through the projects. But personally, I think that competition can be an instrument in our job, in our creative world. So especially when someone is in the position to judge and speak about the projects, I think that if we have good projects, we can put the light on those projects, and other people can get inspired and do a better job. So I will ask you about which one was your favorite project and maybe why.
Yeah, we were prepared for this one.
Yeah, you go first.
I said, I of course take on your challenge, and we know we need to be able to isolate particular projects, but there's one that in many respects caught our attention, which is I think it's called the Tandem office building, and it's one of the ones I found yesterday just walking around. It's quite an intense and not insignificant office building, and it's I don't know if you know the one we're talking about, but it's it's one where the architectural language and the expression towards the city is really courageous and screaming of a new life, and even more than other projects, an intention to revitalize the urban fabric and the area around it. I don't know, Dario, what you...
Yeah, I am terrible with names, so I don't remember exactly.
You can describe it.
Yes, but for me it was really interesting because like our two favorite was like one of the biggest, and for me was one of the smallest. That was like a really simple refurbishment of a house, but where the intervention was really little and subtle. But this is something that for us it's really important, that sometimes as architect you don't need to do too much. So it's more important to know where to stop, to intervene, rather than to want to leave your mark, absolutely. But and this, I think, these two projects were really the two that interested for us the most.
So you had the big project, architecture project, and the small and simple house.
Exactly, but really, what I personally really like is how little they intervene, and with this little intervention they did huge changes. But keeping the essence of the house, like not to do like too much makeup.
Yeah, of course.
Or something.
I think one of the most difficult stuff in our job is how to stop it. You know?
Yes, exactly.
Many times we've got to that point when everything was fantastic and we did not stop it there, and we went beyond the fantastic.
Yes.
And of course, beyond the top, there's a falling down. I absolutely feel the situation.
And that's how I guess we could relate it to our own experience in London and in Lugano, no? Because again, a very different urban and regulatory context, but we're very familiar with these little interventions where, you know, for one reason or another, you need to touch an existing structure to the minimum and still try to create for it to result in an important change, be it for the users or for the context or something like that. So even though many of the other projects were like screaming for attention and with the right reasons, this and a few others were in the background quietly, but really in a very dignified way. And also the way the drawings were made and all of that, we connected very directly with them from our personal experience.
Yeah, I would go a little bit off the piste because you said about the London and Lugano. How do you deal with the mix? I mean, who does what exactly? Because they are two different dimensions, different, let's say, approaches. Absolutely. I mean, London is London, Lugano is Lugano. I mean, how do you...
Different countries, different town planning, cultures, different economies, different... I mean, both of them begin with L, which is probably one of it's as close as they get. But I don't know, it's really interesting, and it's something that comes up a lot in conversation where we started with an idea, a plan of how to deal with this richness. But then it's really day after day or year after year that we have been learning, playing it by ear, and really every day changing and evolving the way we work together. So we're not able to describe Dario is in charge of this, I'm in charge of this other thing. It's very organic, very natural in a way.
Yeah, I can congratulate you guys for this achievement. Actually, I don't know if I could deal. I don't really deal with only Bucharest. If I would have another city with B, that would be a problem for me.
But what I think it's interesting of Bucharest that you have exactly what we have in Lugano and London. You have in the same street.
You see?
So this it's why you don't need another. You have already it.
Let's travel.
Yeah. Of course, I will have Romanian Design Week as an example. But generally speaking, how necessary do you think that these kind of events are for communities, for creative communities?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's very simple. They're super interesting because not only in the way that the broader community is engaged, but also, say, us architects and designers. Sometimes, even in places like London, we're all there and we all work near to each other. But sometimes we need this forum to really come together and to be able to gather physically at the same place and to talk about our things and see your work next to mine, next to someone else's. So yeah, I think it's a must, almost.
And it's a must, and of course I think it helps to grow. Of course, in cities where there is a need for growing the community, and for other cities where you need to maintain it. Yeah. Because from our point of view, we need to grow, and from your point of view in London, you need to maintain the community. So yeah.
But it's funny what happens in London, because sometimes people like us, we need to go and visit similar events, somewhere like the Biennale, Venezia, or some other events in Europe or abroad where the London community travels, and then they meet and they have meaningful conversations there, whereas it should happen in your
It's a nice get together, yeah. I have chose this question as the last question because it has always been about the past, the present. Of course, as designers, as architects, as being creators, we need to always look forward to the future. What do you think that design's role is in the future, and what do you think that today is missing, which future can give us?
Well, some things that we are always really engaged about is about change, no? So this is the only sure thing, is things will change. It's a fact. It's the only fact that we can know. But also, we don't know how it will change. So there is this really beautiful sentence that we love to cite every time, that it's what we do need to allow the change to happen. So this is what really the design should allow activity, human relation, etc. to happen and to change, and the building need to adapt to it. Doesn't need to force them, but need to adapt and to react.
Yeah,
and
that was very nice.
This is the.
Nobody's gonna say AI. There is nobody saying about AI. That would be the future. No, joking.
No, yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for helping the community. Thank you very much for helping the Romanian Design Week. It's been a pleasure, an honor. Really nice discussion. I feel that I got some of your experience, and I thank you for this. And I hope that you're going to enjoy your visit to Bucharest, and I hope that you're going to be back as fast as possible.
Yes, we wish.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Oameni buni, am mai avut o discuție foarte interesantă. Să nu uitați, dacă v-ați uitat, să recomandați și la alții, pentru că prin această comunicare o să reușim să creștem comunitatea. Vă mulțumesc foarte mult și ne vedem la următorul episod.